Hello, my friends. So we have here, you are my horse friends, apparently. And this is an earth symbol. Let's see. I'm kind of thinking that well, first of all, just because the horse represents momentum, freedom, expansive energy, and force, that's the author's description. I would think of this as a fiery aspect of the earth element. Now, the other thing to consider is that we are in the year of the fire horse. Maybe you were born in the year of the fire horse. This is according to Chinese astrology. And we have here fire, your first card out. So I think this references to the year of the fire horse are very clear. I'm not sure when the last year of the fire horse was, but that probably was a significant year for you. Maybe the year that you were born, maybe some other things happened. Who knows? You would know, not me. Okay, now looking at the rest. Oh, wait a minute. I didn't finish the horse, did I? Okay, sorry about that. So the horse represents the most masterful form of earth energy within the deck. It provides us with momentum so reliable, so supportive, that you can ride on its back toward any goal, no matter how difficult the terrain. A horse personality is fully awakened, fully alive, and cannot be defeated. Sounds fully realized. The horse's freedom becomes available to us when we hone and collect our energy through daily practice. Physical stamina, exercise, and mental focus, meditation, are the secret weapons behind the horse's legacy. When in balance, achieves anything, never gives up. When out of balance, runs away and feels weak. To bring into balance, strength training. That doesn't fit. Not to me. So, if you were to practice, well, let's see. There's many different kinds of yoga, but mostly it tends towards building yin. But Tai Chi, on the other hand, and any other martial art tends towards building yang. Qigong can build either one. They tend to deliberately focus on one or the other. So that's my thoughts on those forms of exercise. Since this is a fire and earth creature, there's definitely a need to balance yin and yang. And strength training, may be good for many things, but I'm not really seeing that as the ideal form of exercise. But that's my opinion. Okay. Now then, let's look at your tea leaf cards, which are here to help you determine whether or not this is your reading. I already covered fire, the fire horse aspect of it. Fire just by itself. This card represents strong emotion, passionate love, or hate. But we have the four-leaf clover next to it, so great good fortune. Great good fiery passionate fortune? I don't know. Maybe that makes sense to you. I hope so. But we also have chair empty. Someone is leaving your life. Now this does not read as fortunate because it says teapot, deep friendship with someone of the same sex. So I hope you aren't losing a very important friend, but you would know. Bridge, successfully overcoming a problem, and May. So the month of May have been important, especially for overcoming a problem. I always think of bridges as being about communication in particular, but there are other interpretations possible. Okay, let's move right along now and see why are you here. So, we start off with the Three of Wands. This Three of Wands is about seeing possibilities, potential, creativity, but you have it next to the Five of Cups in reverse. Five of Cups in the upright is about disappointment and heartbreak. A very difficult, painful, emotional lesson of some sort. But within that lesson, there is a silver lining. So having it in reverse, hopefully you have spotted that silver lining, and having it next to the Three of Wands suggests that yes, you have indeed spotted the silver lining, which means you may be coming to the end of that lesson. You may have or finished integrating it, working through it. This is interesting. And it may have had to do with a happily ever after situation. A connection, a home life that you thought at some point was going to be your happily ever after. Instead, you've had to come to terms with it not working out, it appears, which has led you to doing a lot of inner work, a lot of investment in the self. Funny how we have to go through pain in order to spur us to do something, but if we're happy, why would we do anything? If we're happy and content, why would we rock the boat? The vast majority of us wouldn't. Now we have Temperance. Perhaps you are finding your balance again after all of this. So Temperance is about finding a balance between the material and the spiritual. It can be a very boring card, although there's a lot to be said for having a balanced life. And the inner work that you have been doing would definitely contribute to that. The other thing about Temperance that I sometimes forget to mention is that it is a card of miracles, or at least doing something that seems impossible. Usually on the Temperance card you have an angel, I think it's an angel, pouring some sort of liquid from one container to another, and the liquid is moving at an angle, which of course is physically impossible. So there is a reference here to doing the impossible, or what you thought was impossible. Now we have the Knight of Wands in reverse. The Knight of Wands in reverse is definitely player energy. Somebody who is very focused on their passions and pleasures, and self-indulgent. Not considerate. All of the wands in reverse can be very selfish. Then we have the Two of Wands, Two of Swords, which is stagnation, and Seven of Swords, which is dishonesty. Okay, stagnation and dishonesty. And Three of Swords. This may have been you in the past. All right, either you or the person that you were involved with were this Knight of Swords and Knight of Wands in reverse. Sorry. So they did not want to change. They did not want to be honest about who they were, what they were doing, how they were hurting other people, and it ultimately caused an ending. So, a lot of mourning there. Difficult emotional lesson, as we already discussed. It would have been difficult and painful for both of you if there were genuine feelings on both sides, which it's very likely there were with the Ten of Cups there. All right, so I think we know why you're here. Let's see what the universe has to say about all this. Learning to be a boss. Taking control of your own life. Oh yes. Finding your inner guidance system. You're becoming a lighthouse for yourself and for others. Oh, wow. Okay. And wanting to take something to the next level, a connection, a partnership, statement of intent, marriage or union. I mean, this looks very romantic, but I don't see anybody else here. Change of heart. I think you are the player. So, it looks like your player tendencies brought an end to something, and after the fact you realized it was something you didn't want to end. Yep. You want to recover it. Well, ship going places. Let's see what this is about. It's funny how that landed there. Perfect spot almost all by itself. Okay. Going places, really, really trying to get cracking. But also painful, tension, fighting, arguments, anger. Have you resolved your issues? I mean, I'm not sure. Is this about apologizing for this anger, this behavior, or is it still something to be resolved? Within yourself, I mean. If you have this tendency to be impatient, to get into arguments, to be angry, fighting, that has to be resolved before this can be addressed. This is glass heart, vulnerability, you know, delicate, clear, sensitive, openness, handle carefully, transparency. This is not something that can be rushed. You may be making progress, maybe a great deal of progress, with this horse here, the fire horse, no less. So I get the sense from the Tower, I feel this is a connection from lives past, which, let's be real, everybody in your life is most likely someone you've had a connection with in past lives. You want a clean sweep, a total makeover, a do-over. I don't think there's a do-over card in this deck. There really ought to be. And you think the way to do it, to get this do-over, is to have a lot of money. If you don't address this emotional stuff, having a lot of money isn't going to solve anything. And you probably don't want to hear that, but think you need to work on your wisdom. So we have thoughts, problems, doubts, hesitation, false start, failure to launch, misfire. Which is likely what's going to happen if you don't become wise first. Wise and aware. Explore the unknown, which would probably be yourself. You have the potential, clearly, because you are the horse person. But I think you need to cool your fire a bit and spend more time on the Seven of Pentacles, the investing in the self. I would strongly suggest you get therapy, counseling, a mentor, whatever is appropriate for your situation, whatever works for you, but somebody who knows what they're doing and is not part of your social circle, because you need somebody on the outside to be, first of all, on your side and not influenced by other people. And secondly, they'll be more objective. I don't know. That's my suggestion. Obviously, you can do whatever you want to do. But don't rush into anything. There's a lot of work to be done here first. It does not look like you're anywhere near ready. Especially if you think money is going to solve the problem. Problems. It's probably many problems. Okay. But you do have enormous potential. You are the fire horse. I am going to go with the archetypes card first for you for a final message. It's odd. I didn't get anything really for your environment. The people in your life, the influences in your life. It's all about love and the village. Actually, I want this one this way. So this is how cells divide. Specifically, this is how the DNA lines up, and then those strands there pull apart the DNA to recreate a new cell. Look at that, the mentor. See, you do need a mentor. All right, let's see what the cards have to say. 41, the village. I'm very interested. I'm not sure I've ever read this one. I must have read this one. Not recently, that's for sure. The village, the hometown, the family, the tribe. The village presents us with a conundrum. On one hand, it's the place that feels most like home, the place to which you can always return. Nostalgia and comfort draw us back. On the other hand, it's the very place you must leave in order to grow. Around the village, an unspoken boundary exists, one most villagers do not want you to cross. Though some support your leaving, still you hear whispers of doubt as you venture beyond its borders, leaving them behind. The energy of the village is present any time we feel restricted by a certain group, community, family, place, or ideology. It may have served us in the past, yet staying within its parameters will never satiate our thirst for life. Thank the village for all it has provided, knowing you will someday return. For now, the world awaits. When light, intimate, rooted into intergenerational communal. Sorry, don't know why I can't talk. When dark, small-minded, gossipy, trapped, restricted. The village moves with you as it is more of a mindset than a physical place. Yes, keep in mind the Eight of Swords, the mental prison. Don't let the village provides can provide a wonderful foundation, but it can also become a mental prison. Returning to the village is as important as leaving it. This can be thought of as a completion or an integration of what you learned out in the wild. That's interesting. Let's look at the mentor now. That's number 6. Not going in any order at all, am I? All right, the mentor, the teacher, the sage, the guru. It is said that cosmic knowledge pours down on the world like a great illuminated waterfall. This can be an overwhelming force. The true teacher, though, is said to be able to hold this flow of wisdom at bay while the teacher sips from a focused stream. The mentor archetype has a gift for reading the room, for sensing the exact ingredients that will stimulate growth within the student, whether pleasant or painful. The mentor may appear aloof or unavailable, harsh or tender, humorous or rigid. Their gift is to know what serves the soul. Ultimately, the mentor is in service of the greater cosmic good and aids in the elevation of consciousness. Anytime the mentor forgets this humble link and mistakes themselves for the source of enlightenment, the archetype falls into shadow. When light, focused, clear, bright, remains a student, always. When dark, self-serving, envious of youth, righteous, rigid. There's a lot of those on the internet. Keep in mind how easy it is to project power onto another. The expressions feet of clay and cult of personality exist for a reason. Although it's typically true that parents are our initial teachers, the child will eventually seek a mentor figure outside of the home to assist their growth. And they should. Finally, Agape, 72. This is one of the last cards in the deck, and it is about love. Devotion, unconditional love. What if, instead of putting yourself at the center of your spiritual practice, you put God, Goddess, or nature at the center? How would this change your approach? Such is the energy of Agape. It is alive when we are in awe and wonder, our breath taken away by the sacred force that surrounds us and asks for nothing in return. This card can indicate a spiritual initiation that stretches your capacity to love and serve. You sense the earthly as the heavenly and vice versa. Such an initiatory moment can appear in any form, and like a healing balm to the modern soul, its effects last a lifetime. The Agape card may also suggest you reassess what you worship every day, consciously or unconsciously. What are you elevating? What does the sacred ladder you climb ultimately lead to? When light, service, reverence, honor, joy. When dark, spiritual bypassing, righteousness. Agape can also be felt as an overwhelming love of family, partner, community. Recognize it as by a deep swell of gratitude. The Greek word agape informs the English word agape, to have the mouth. Agape is to be awestruck by something of breathtaking delight. We are made humble once again. All right. You have a lot of work, but you have a lot of potential. You can do it. But don't try to push it too fast. I am wishing you all the best. Till next time.